Hey guys, it's Johnno here from the Football Nation podcast. I'm here with one of my co-hosts, FM King. How are you today, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Yep, we're here with my series again, the halftime analysis. Last week we had Bullions on with Arsenal. That was a really good episode, our best yet, one of our best videos on YouTube at the moment. So massive thanks for your support on that video. If you're not checked it out, make sure you check it out. And yes, we've got FM King today here to talk about his beloved Aston Villa. How are you, mate? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So, I want to give you a few minutes to how is your season going so far? Change of management, obviously, and yeah, over to you.
So the season's turning around finally. There was a lot of high hopes when Gerrard came in last, and started off quite well, but then form dipped. He's very sort of stubborn in the way he likes to play. I feel that talking to a few Rangers fans that I know, Michael Beale, who was his assistant. He's very tactical and behind the scenes running the training and stuff. Losing him at the start of the season for him to go and manage QPR was I
Yeah,
think a big loss, and you could see that
you can
from
see, you can see it on how QPR are playing as well.
yeah, and not only just QPR as well. The way that we started the season on the pitch, we sometimes had a lot of the ball but didn't know what to do with it. We
Mm.
sometimes didn't have a lot of the ball and didn't know what to do with that. And it was just a bit of a disappointment, really, especially with the start of the games we had at the start of the season. As Villa fans, with the high hopes that we got, we expected, to kind of kick on a little bit, which never happened.
Yes. So yeah, I think you're a really good appointment as well, which we'll get into later on. But yeah, we start with I asked the same question to everyone. So your signings for Philippe Coutinho on a permanent after his loan last season, Kamara on a free, which I think is amazing signing. I'll get into that in a minute. Diego Carlos, Olsen from Rome, goalkeeper. Liquid Augustinsson, uh, Dundonka. Who do you think is your best signing? You've got. I want to give you to give me a hit and a miss.
You missed one off there, the loan Jan Bednareko. I think
Oh
we
yeah,
can sign on a permanent. I think at the end of the season, possibly.
yep,
Um, I'll definitely give you a hit. That would
yep,
be Boubacar Kamara. He's one
yeah,
of them
yeah,
players that just ticks the game over in the middle of the park. You won't hear his name mentioned very often.
yeah.
He's not one of them players that's going to be on the ball all the time, but he
He's got a
does the
really good
simple
partnership there in
things.
midfield as well, and he
Yeah, he does the simple things so well as well. Like he's
free
there as a
transfer as well.
DM. He's there as a DM. He's there to break up the play, intercept balls, pass it on to then Douglas Luiz, who he's
Mm.
been playing with, for him then to go and do something else. So he's been absolutely brilliant, and he did have an injury. He played, I think, 1 or 2 games at the start of the season and then got an injury, so he was out for quite a while. He's been back. He's been a game changer. Um, Pardon me.
Really good signing as well, and a free transfer that was as well from Marseille, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So
couldn't believe it.
a lot of clubs wanted him, including us. We were looking at him, so yeah, I was quite disappointed when he went to you because I wanted him. Um,
Yeah, it would have been good for you, lot.
yeah,
That's a
the Villa
flag
fan.
gone.
Yeah.
uh,
uh,
but as for misses, I can't separate two people on that list. One is Robin Olsen, who we had on loan last season. Only
mm,
played one game, which was Man City away, which we was winning 2-0 at the time, which was the last
mm,
game of the season. So it could have had a say in the title race.
yeah,
And he single-handedly cost us that game with his mistakes. And
yeah.
then we signed him on the back of that one match that he played for £3 million. And he's came in this season and been absolutely atrocious when he's been called upon. I know he's only a backup, so he don't really play as often. But
Yeah.
for somebody that makes that many mistakes, there was a thing going around Twitter not long ago asking for a petition for him to be deported. So that's how much Villa fans hate him. The other one is Philip Coutinho. He
Yeah.
obviously came in on loan last season as well. Gerrard's mate. Um, he did well to start off with. First 6 games, I'd say he did all
Yeah.
right. He had an impact. He scored. He got an assist. He did all right. As the season went on, he slowly drifted out of form and got worse and worse.
Hmm.
I don't understand personally why we signed him
No, do
on the
I?
form that he was on. I know that I'm sure that it was 15 million in the end because I'm sure it was meant to be 20, the agreed fee, but we ended up
Yeah.
knocking them down
Yeah,
because
the
we didn't
website
want
the
to pay.
website I got your transfers for says 17 million.
But I actually think we only signed him because Gerrard was manager.
Oh yeah, 100%. And
Um,
I also go back to that signing as well. Like my second team is Norwich, as you know, and I always keep an eye on Norwich. And you didn't need him. You had
nah,
who I think is a brilliant player, and he's starting to bring up form again now. And in Grenadier, and it just affected Grenadier, that signing. I didn't understand it. And
yeah, Emmy's a really he's exactly the same sort of player as Coutinho.
yeah,
And I think having them both in the system, Gerrard didn't know whether to play 2 cams and have Coutinho and Buendia, or 2 strikers and have Watkins and Ings, and
yeah,
like just tactically it all went wrong. I think Coutinho's little cameo when he first come in died down, which you probably not going to be able to keep the form up all the time when you've not been playing regularly. But for a player that's on that much money, I'd expect a lot better. So, but yeah, definitely it would have to be between Coutinho and Olsen. I think, to be honest, I can't separate the two. They're both terrible. I mean, I think, as far as I know, I think Coutinho's transfer listed at the minute.
I didn't realise he'd been transfer listed. Um, yeah, it'd be interesting to see where he goes. I did hear rumours of potentially going back to South America. I wouldn't be surprised about that after the way his career's gone.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've seen that as well. I don't know whether that would be us cancelling his contract and him going, or whether we'd
hmm,
receive a fee from that. But there was reports circling on Twitter about that, and especially
yeah,
with the players we've been linked with as well. I just can't see him getting into the team. He's not started a game since Emre's come in. Um,
yeah,
he's had only a couple of handful appearances from the bench. He just doesn't look like he's in favour.
yeah, definitely. And now we'll go on to your games. So we pick 5 games, which I think has been important this season for you. And then I'll give you a chance to add any more in that you think is important as well. So, Bournemouth, we'll start off with Bournemouth 2, Aston Villa 0. Start of the season, a bad start from a Bournemouth who have not been great this season. Yeah, what's your thoughts on the 2-0 loss to Bournemouth start of the season?
Shambles, absolute shambles. Um, the last time we played Bournemouth, the first game of the season was the season we got relegated. We managed to win that time, so hopefully we're not going to get relegated because the score is different. But like you say, Bournemouth, they've been up and down. They went through a stage where they weren't doing very well. Then they had a good spell. To be fair, for the team, the squad that they've got, I think they are overachieving. But I mean, we had like 70 something percent possession that game. We had all the chances. It was a smash and grab from Bournemouth, but it was one of them where we didn't know what to do when we had that much possession. It was very much of Bournemouth had a game plan to get men behind the ball and frustrate us, and then we started whipping crosses in from all over the pitch to Danny Ings, who's like 5 foot and a Weetabix. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to work out. If we had Peter Crouch or somebody like Ben Teke or somebody, yeah, all day long. But
Yeah,
we
I'm
just
hearing
had no second plan with that game.
I'm hearing rumours that Danny Ings would be going back to Southampton as well.
I
I've
mean,
heard
well,
that.
I don't know. I don't know whether he's going to go back there because I think they're relegated order.
Yeah, but yeah, I've heard rumours that he could be leaving already. So it's just that we all thought that came out of nowhere, and we thought that was such a good signing, but it just hasn't proved to be the
I mean,
case.
since not Emma, since Emre's been in, he has been quite good. I mean, he scored again last night. He scored against, I think it was Brighton. He's scored quite a few goals. I mean, I'd start him over Watkins. I would.
Yeah.
Watkins will run all day for you, but it'll take Watkins 6 or 7 chances to score a goal. Whereas Ings, he might
Mm.
not be as physically involved in the game, but he'll definitely pop up with 2 or 3 shots and score a goal. And when you're a team like Villa that doesn't always create them great goal scoring opportunities, you need to be taking more of them rather than less of them. So I'd definitely start Ings, I would, for Villa. I wouldn't like to see him go just yet. I
Yeah.
have heard that we're not looking to sell any players in the winter transfer window.
Oh, okay.
I think that was Emre come out with that the other night. So I mean,
Okay.
he might go in the summer, but I'm not too sure.
Next, we had Crystal Palace 3-1 against Aston Villa. Crystal Palace having an up and down season as well, but quite good under their manager. What did you think of a 3-1 loss to Crystal Palace?
Um, yeah, I don't know why you've put this one to be honest, but obviously this goes back to the start that I was talking about earlier. We started with Bournemouth away, Everton at home, Palace away, West Ham at home, and then we played Arsenal, which was going to be our first real test. A lot of Villa fans probably thought that we could get 3, maybe 4 wins out of our first 4 games,
Yeah.
and it just didn't happen. And we were shocking. We was terrible at that stage in the season. Um, so Crystal Palace have played quite well under Vieira, probably deserved it on the day. And obviously we started badly. We missed Michael Beale,
Mm.
and I just don't think the Gerrard era. I think if we was to play that game again now under Emre, I think it'd be a different score. But
Oh yeah,
obviously,
definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Next, we had a big game for you. Aston Villa 1, Man City 1. Getting a draw against Man City at Villa Park. Yeah, great result for you. What do you take
yeah.
from that game?
But this was quite a shock result, really. Obviously, I suppose when you come up against I mean, we drew to them last game of the season last year after being 2-0 up. So, from our point of view, we always, as fans, think we've got a chance in a game. It starts 0-0. There's a 90-minute match in front of you. It don't matter who you're playing, you've always got a chance. So, at that time, with the way that the scores were, and the results what had happened before that, we'd only picked up 1 win, which was at home to Everton. We was playing absolute dreadful football. So nobody really thought we'd get anything out of it, and we managed to get a 1-1, which was massive because then I think we ended up beating Southampton at home after that, if I'm right, 1-0, which was absolutely terrible. I went to that game myself. And then we got 2 draws against Leeds and Forest, which we should have probably beat both of them teams. It turned the form round a little bit, which was good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's a great result. And another great result was uh, obviously we've put our form up a bit, but I think you played us at the right time here, where our squad was like demolished from like our squad depth playing in Europa League. Screwed us that game. But yeah, a great result for you. Aston Villa 3-1 against Manchester United at Villa Park. Great result for you. What's your thoughts on that game?
Uh, Fantastic
From
result, to be honest,
yeah,
because I think it's the first time in 28 years that we've managed to beat you. Even
yeah,
when Man U were at their worst, we could not beat you. You are our bogey team. I think you did play quite a strong team. Rashford was in,
yeah. It
Martial
was
was
strong, but
in. You
it
had Martinez. So
it,
I understand you had a lot of games with Europa League, but when you're a top
I think they
team,
just comparing to I think like from watching the game compared to the games around it, it just looked like we were knackered. It
yeah,
didn't look like we had that energy from the previous games. I don't know if that was just because we
that
played
that
so much,
that was
or
our. I'm sure that was our first game under Emra. It was, yeah, man, yeah,
yeah, because we played you next in the cup and beat you in the cup, didn't we? We had you
yeah,
back to back.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Which, to be honest, you was lucky that we played Robin Olsen in goal because if we hadn't have played Robin Olsen in goal, we probably wouldn't have lost that game because I think at least 2 of your 3 goals come from defensive and goalkeeping mistakes in that game, which is the point I was making about him before. Um, but yeah, it was a great result. It's been a long time since Villa have beat Man U.
Yeah,
I think the last time might have been like 1994, 1996 when we beat you in back-to-back cup finals.
yeah. Do you think
Um,
that's your game of the season so far?
I'd probably say between that and the game where we beat Brentford 4-0, I think we played really good football in that game and it was our highest win of the season. But I
Mm,
definitely feel like there was a change in the air in that Man U game. The
yeah.
fans thought there was, with the new manager coming in, that it just seemed like it was a different
Mm.
atmosphere
Yeah, it definitely
completely.
looked like a different Villa team compared to the last few games.
Yeah.
And I really rate Emery as a manager, and he's done well wherever he's gone. Even he wasn't. Um, Arsenal fans didn't appreciate back him there, but he even won a trophy there with a team that wasn't great
Yeah,
as they are now.
I don't get this Arsenal hate towards Emre. Emre after 70 games had a better win percentage than Arteta after 70 games. So I know that Arteta's doing really well now, but Arsenal have to remember at that time in their history, there wasn't a top team. They were
Yeah.
fighting to try and get into the top four places.
Mm,
They've been living in Tottenham's shadow now for quite a few years. And I do think sometimes where you get a big team, maybe, Man U fans might have been like it over the years. You used to be the top team in England, but now you are fighting for like that third, maybe fourth place,
yeah,
and
definitely.
you have to realise that sometimes as a team. But I love Emery. I think he's done really well at other clubs. He's won Europa Leagues and stuff. He seems to be sort of a person that can come in and do a job with an underdog. So maybe that might bode well for us.
Yes. So the next result we had was another great result. It was Spurs nil to Aston Villa, a Spurs team that haven't been great this season. They're trying to play defensive football with a shocking defence with Conte, and I don't think he's going to be there much longer. What's your thoughts on a 2-0 win for Aston Villa at Spurs?
Yeah, well, this is obviously fresh in the memory because it was only the other day. Great result again. I thought we was going to win because I heard that Emmy was back, but he was only on the bench. So I'm surprised with Emmy not being in the team, we managed to win. But we played well defensively. I mean, Tottenham didn't really cause us much problems apart from when Robin Olsen went walkabouts and Ashley Young had to clear it off the line. Apart from that, it didn't really create a lot, and you could tell with the atmosphere at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium that there's something going on there, and I think we knew that teams can go ahead against Tottenham, and we took the game to them a little bit. We attacked them. The longer it seemed to stay 0-0, the more we came into the game, the more the atmosphere seemed to turn. And getting that second goal, I think, was vital because at 1-0, Tottenham was still in the game and only needed one chance. But another great result. If you think about it, oh, pardon me. If you think about it, we've beat Man U, we've beat Tottenham, we've drew to Man City. When we played Arsenal at Arsenal's ground, we lost 2-1, but it was only for the fact that we couldn't take a couple of. We didn't have many chances, and Arsenal did outplay us and should have probably beat us by more. But their finishing from certain individuals was absolutely shocking. If we hadn't have made the goalkeeping errors for their goals, we could have probably gone on to get a draw or something out of that. So we're performing well against big sides, which you know, you. I mean, I always go into a season and think these are the games we need to win. And it's teams like Everton, we beat 2-1, second game of the season. That for me is a massive game because that's a team that we're fighting against. So we need to take points off them. We beat Southampton, we beat Brentford, we beat Brighton. These are the sorts of teams that we need to be beating to get a good league position because they're the
Yeah,
teams that I feel we're fighting against. These
yeah,
teams like Man U, Man City, Tottenham, these are like bonus wins because we're not really fighting for top four yet. I mean, we might be in a few years' time, depending on how things go, or top six. But at the minute, for us to record a top half of the table finish would be great. I know that going back, we used to get European football and be fighting for sixth, seventh place with Everton, but we went through a bad spell and we are rebuilding as a club. So we have to sort of remember that even though we are quite a big team, we have to record that top half of the table finish and then try and progress from there, which I think we can do over the next couple of years.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with you. I've got a few questions for you before we move on. What has happened the start of the season, and why did it not work with Steven Gerrard and in his managerial career? And is his managerial career at the top level?
Um, so I think the same with Gerrard as I do with Lampard. I don't think they've had enough time in the game, and I think they got big jobs far too early, and they haven't had the experience because of that. I feel like he did a great job at Rangers, although Celtic at the time were going through a bit of a rebuilding stage themselves, so maybe that's why he did well. When he came in, he had a bit of the new managerial bounce. It went okay.
Yeah.
Um, but from my point, the reason what went wrong is his stubbornness not to change and try new things. Him losing one of his head coaches, and it seemed to be with him. It was all about Steven Gerrard, not the club, and I think that's where he went wrong. I feel like he needs to go and maybe spend a season or two in the Championship managing, or take a lower club than what we are. So say somebody that's literally fighting relegation. But I would
And
say he needs to
maybe
go and
maybe
manage lower
something
down.
maybe something like Scott Parker's gone. Scott Parker's obviously had some trouble with his last few jobs, and now he's gone to Europe to a smaller club in Europe with Club Brugge. Maybe something like that would be good
Yeah,
for
definitely.
Gerrard.
I wouldn't
Um,
say that his career at the top level's over because he's only just starting his managerial career. And although he was a great player, he can't be judged on his playing abilities as a manager. You'll see a lot of top players don't turn out to be top managers,
mm,
whereas you'll see managers that wasn't great at playing, that just maybe average, turn out to be great managers. So we'll see how he gets on over the years. I know that maybe Liverpool are lining him up for a future manager. I wouldn't go for him if I was them right now. I'd leave it 5 or 10 years because you know you wouldn't want to spoil his legacy. I definitely feel like he's got a lot of learning to do. I definitely feel like he needs to be less stubborn and he needs to try and take on different concepts and maybe, like you say, a trip abroad or a trip to lower down in the leagues. I don't think it'd be a bad idea managing somebody lower down because I think you do learn a lot from that.
yeah, definitely. And the next question we have: how do you think the new manager Emery will do this season, and what is your expectations?
Um, so I'm very excited. When he came into the club in his press conference, he talked about us being a big club and not winning a trophy for so long, which is right. We haven't won a trophy for quite a while, so that's exciting. It'd be nice to win a trophy, but he also wants to get us back into Europe. And we know what this man can do in European competitions. And we do actually have a European trophy to our name. So, it might be nice to see that happening again. I
Yeah.
am very excited for the times because we have
On that
ambitious owners.
on that side, he's actually had an upgrade from Arsenal because they don't have a European Cup.
Yeah. Sorry, Bullions, if you're watching. But yeah, I'm very excited. Our owners are quite ambitious. We've been linked with a lot of names at the minute, which is very nice. And just the turnaround in performances and results since Emre's been there. We've only lost one game, which was a 3-1 defeat to Liverpool, which I know they've been a bit hit and miss, but they're still a quality side. And on their day, they can beat anybody. So I'm not too disappointed in that. I'm happy with the way the results are going. If we'd have won last night, we'd have gone on to, I think, 24 points, which would have put us only 4 points off seventh place.
Wow.
So I'm not expecting like European football this season. I'd be happy if we can get a top half and then try and get some players in for next year and see how we can do then. But I think the 5-year plan definitely has to have European football in it somewhere along the
Yeah,
line.
definitely. I definitely think if you keep with Emery, you'll win something as well, even if it's a Carabao Cup or something like that. I think he's won a trophy everywhere he's gone,
But the
basically.
names we're being linked with as well: Jeremy Pino, Pau Torres, Chukwueze, Nicholas Jackson, Frank Kessie. You know, there's a lot of big names there, and Yao Felix was one that's been going around a lot lately as
Yeah,
well. I don't expect to get any of these, but even if we got one, it'd be fantastic. You know, Pau Torres alongside
yeah,
Carlos when he's back from injury. That would
yeah.
be
That
what a pairing.
that would be sick. Uh, on that, what signings do you think It's January now. Windows open. What signings do you think you need in this January to hit your targets for the season?
Well, obviously my targets and the board's targets might be completely different. I think we could get a top half finish with the squad we've got now. I think it's more than capable. I actually think we have a really strong squad, and I think we have underachieved.
Yeah, you definitely do. Yeah, I really rate your squad.
I think we a backup goalkeeper would be crucial. Whether that'll probably come at the end of the
You've got
season.
Olsen.
Yeah, Olsen's not a backup goalkeeper. It's like putting spaghetti in goal. It's about as useful as a chocolate fire guard, my nan would say. Um, I feel like a winger, because I don't rate Coutinho. A winger to rotate between Bailey and Buendia. Maybe a striker and a centre back. That would be my wish list. But I mean, it depends what targets the board want to try and do. If they want a late push or a trophy win this season, we're still in the FA Cup at the minute. We are 22 points, I think, in the league. We're 22 points in the league, which I think seventh place are on 28. So it's not impossible to
No.
get like around there. But I honestly I don't know what they're expecting from him, because he's only just come in. So there's
Yeah.
probably going to be ups and downs. But from my point of view, top half table finish, I don't actually think we need to sign anybody to do that.
Fair enough.
Like maybe one or two might be nice if we can get players in ready for next season to get them training with the team and playing for forming relationships. But
Yeah. Fair
overall,
enough. Anyway, thanks for coming on, King. Where can we find you?
you can find me on twitch.tv/FMKing007,
Yep.
and I'll be
And
on Road to Legends draft and the
yeah.
Football Nation podcast.
Yep. You can find me Johnno.tv everywhere, at Road to Legends and the Football Nation. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, turn that bell on so you never miss an upload, and we'll see you next week for the next episode.